Alright guys, so before we begin, can you just get your heart rate going? So a couple of burpees, some star jumps, running on the spot, running around your house, whatever you can do, just to get the blood flowing. Pause the video and then restart once you've done that. Alright guys, you should be a little bit warmer now. Let's start rolling the shoulders. And with a full circle of the arms, try and make sure that you don't allow your ribs to splay. So try and keep a nice flat back. Arms go right up and try and have straight arms the whole time, even when you're going around to the back. Sometimes the arms have a little tendency just to bend a little bit, but keep them as straight as possible. And keeping your arms up, I want you to think about pushing as tall as you can and relax. You're going to do 10 of these. And now little circles with the arms. So you really want to pull down through the lats and then extend up. Keep going. And now in the opposite direction. And pushing up as high as you can. Should start feeling a nice little burn in the shoulders. Keep going. And we're going to go down to shoulder height and back up. Really slow and controlled. You should start feeling a nice little burn in your shoulders. Handstands are all about the shoulders and having nice open shoulders as well, so we will work on that in a second. Lovely. And shoulder height, little circles round. And make them really, really small. It's like a little pulse through the arms. Lovely. And bringing it to the front. You're going to have lots of tension through the fingers. You're going to flex the hands down. And now with accent up. And in. And out. And circle through the wrists. I like to just use the fingers as well. And in the opposite direction. And flashing the fingers. And a big circle round to finish. So we're just going to have 5 deep breaths in this stretch. We are allowing ourselves to go deep into the back as well. I always bend my legs a little bit to intensify the stretch and then straighten them up again. So we're going to have 5 deep breaths here. Now what I want you to do is tilt the pelvis so you create a nice flat back. We're still going into the shoulders, but you probably feel like you can't go as far. Allow the shoulders to still feel a nice stretch even though we've tilted the pelvis. And have 5 breaths here as well. And bending the knees, rolling through the spine. Alright guys, so this video we're going to work on the L kick entry. So it's probably a typical way that most people do go into a handstand, except I really want you to think about the technique behind this entry. So you're going to start your whole body length away from wherever you're kicking up to. So usually people, when they're doing handstands, usually use a wall as a guide of where to kick to. So if you're using a wall, make sure your whole body length, including arms, away from the wall. A nice long lunge is amazing for a handstand for this particular entry. So feet together, arms up. Imagine you've got 2 lights on your hip. You're going to turn the tips under and push away with the arms. A nice long lunge, big lunge. Make sure that this connection between your arms and your ears is never ever lost. You're going to do a big reach forwards, lift the back leg, keep reaching, a little kick and back up. Okay? So if you notice, I only brought the leg halfway and then went back down. It's really important that we know how to control the body in a handstand. So you're really being cautious that you're only kicking one leg up to vertical and one leg horizontal. And I want you to do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other side, so with the other leg leading the lunge. Pause the video and then restart once you've done 10 on each side. Okay, so now you've done that, hopefully you've done 10 on each side. One side will be better than the other side, it's just the way it goes. So what I always do is I always do my least favourite side and then I get to finish on my favourite side. So now what we're going to do is going to do a donkey kick. So this is really good for getting the legs together without trying to balance the handstand. If you manage to balance the handstand, brilliant. But if you're just trying to figure out how to get upside down and trying to get both legs up to the handstand window of opportunity, I like to call it, then that's fine as well. So whatever level you're at is good for you. So again, we're still using that long entry that we've just practiced. So arms up, we're going to do a nice long lunge. Everything is the same as it was before. Reach, switch the legs and come down onto the other lunge. And down. Okay? So there's a moment where both legs join together. At that moment, I want you to think about squeezing. I squeeze my butt, squeeze my legs, point my toes and think about being the tallest I can be as I'm getting upside down, okay? So it is nice to use a wall just because sometimes we go a little bit too far. It's good to be able to catch ourselves, or it's sometimes good as like a little visual of where you're going and how far you need to go. So give that a go. I want you to do 10 on each side. Start with the least favourite side and then finish with your favourite side. Off you go. Okay, so I hope you managed to do that. Don't worry if you're not managing to get upside down or you're not able to get to the wall. It's all about repetition and continuing your practice quite often. So it's something that just needs a little bit of time and dedication. So just keep going even if you're not managing to get upside down or make a connection to the wall. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to do it 2 ways now to try and balance a handstand. So we're going to do the L kick entry, which we've just been working on. If for some people getting upside down in this way is not happening just yet, I'll do an extra way of balancing in a second. So if you're managing to do the L kick and managing to get to the wall, what I want you to think about now is we're going to try and balance the handstand. So we're going to take one foot away from the wall and allow the other leg to guide towards it and then back to the wall. Okay, so I want you to do, let's do 10 attempts of balancing. So maybe you alternate the entry from one leg to the other leg, and then 10 attempts of balancing the handstand. What I want you to think about when you're balancing the handstand is the fingers. I always use the pressure through the fingers to balance a handstand. I really try and avoid using the shoulders moving forwards and backwards, just because that's lots of movement that you can create. Ideally, you want your shoulders stacked over your wrist. So it's your wrist, your shoulder, your hip, your knee and your foot are all in one perfect line. That's the perfect straight handstand. Obviously there's other shapes, but for this particular drill, we're trying to think about getting everything all stacked in a line, so it does feel really, really light when everything stacks up in the perfect alignment. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So we're going to do the L kick now. I'll just show you. So we do a nice long lunge, reach forward, both legs to the wall. We're going to pull one leg away, we're going to push through the fingers and try and squeeze the leg and put it back to the wall. Put the leg towards the foot. And then when you come down, back to the lunge. Okay, so another exercise if you are struggling with the L kick in, and this is a good exercise for everyone as well to practice balancing. We're going to put our hands on the floor and we're going to walk our feet up the wall, okay? For some people this might be enough, this might be a bit of an endurance exercise. Also as well, you'll only be able to play with the balance the closer your belly button gets to the wall. So decide what level you're at. Just doing this first bit might be enough. If you're able to get upside down with a nice open shoulder, then we do want to try and play with the balance. Alright, so I'm going to put my hands down onto the floor, put one leg on, push through the foot and take the other leg up. We're going to walk in, point your toes, take one foot away and squeeze the legs and try and put the foot back on the wall. Squeeze the legs and try and put the foot back on the wall. Squeeze and put it back. If you want to come down, split the legs like you would out of a cartwheel, okay? Alright guys, so just to finish now, so come down to the floor, spread the fingers, just going to do some little circles. And the other way. And side to side. And turn your hands towards you and doing tiny little circles. And the other way. Lean back slowly. Just get a nice stretch in the forearms. And peeling through. Just a little wrist mobilization. And the other way. And just to finish, just going to stretch out the shoulders. So take the hands, stretch them out in front. You want to go onto the tips of the fingers if you need an extra stretch. Keep the bum up, stretch the hands away and lower the shoulders to the floor. Take one hand out to the side and push into the straight arm just to intensify the stretch. And switch sides. And both hands back in the middle.
I'm taking potions, call me Alice.